Good evening, everybody. It is again another Saturday night, 10 o'clock. Thank you for listening to Jaded. I'm Kim Ochelli, here with Chuck to talk about whatever's going on. So how was your show, Ben?
Oh, another interesting conversation, Didn't have much of an idea where we were going to go. Well, we went through sociology, psychiatry.
Oh, I minored in that.
She was, she was well studied in that. We started to talk about gender identification. We talked about genetics. We talked about
wow, all over the map.
Yeah, we really did. And then, of course, the dancing Israeli question came up.
Oh, yeah, I had to finally let them go.
Well, see, now
they're not in the cabinet anymore.
Little confusion, because I still say that should be the name for,
That would be a cool rock band name.
I don't think so.
I do.
I don't think so. I want to start calling each of my nuts dancing Israelis.
Oh my God. Oh, I forgot to give the phone number again, in case somebody decides to call.
Oh, yeah, we do actually have the phones tonight. So.
We do?
Yeah.
All right, 718-717-8296. If you want to call in and just talk about whatever, I'm open for anything, almost, I think. I was watching the TV before when you were on the radio.
What? Well, let me stop you a second.
All right.
Because I'm open for anything.
Well, yeah.
Wow.
I flow with the breeze. Makes life much easier, I think.
All right.
Because
kind of a suggestive statement, though,
Well, it all depends on where your mind goes.
I'm open.
If you want to be that way, then okay.
No.
But I'm saying
I'm open.
I'm open for any conversation that anyone may want to have.
Well, see,
I didn't talk about doing things.
Open lines,
conversation.
Yeah, but see, that's not what you said. Open lines, open minds. Okay, but you said I'm open for anything.
Well, all right, then.
That's kind of undefined. I mean,
Oh, good God.
Look, I'm not criticizing.
I should hope not.
Yeah, well,
anyway,
you're open for anything. That opens up a world of possibilities for me.
Hey, it could be a really interesting roundtable. And let me apologize again, please, for last week, because that didn't go exactly how I thought it was going to go. Because if anybody was listening to the first show that I did, my whole thing is to open up the minds of the younger people, because I think that they've, again, a good reason why it's called Jaded, but I think they've been jaded by all the bullshit that goes on around their age group now. And it was great to have, what was he, 20 years old, Derek? It was great to have him call in, and hopefully he got something useful out of that from all of us talking. And then Charlie called in, and that was really great. And I hope he came out of that conversation with something he can use. And I really got irritated, and I didn't want to say it on the air, but I got irritated because the other people that were involved in the round table started yelling at him. And, you start yelling at somebody, you lose them right out of the gate.
And you know what? Again, props to Shali Lama, because he came right in with a very poignant statement, explaining about the strategy of racial divisiveness, or divisiveness as it may be. He really came right on point, like he always does. And mad props to Shali Lama.
Well, I was happy with the second part of the second part of the show.
Right. Cold reality
Spit it
news.
out.
Cold reality news. The broadcast is on Sundays here on UCY. I always forget what time, but it's usually when I'm listening.
I think it's from 10 to
in the later morning,
12 or 9 to 11. His songs crack me up out loud.
Well, yeah, especially when and I promise you, if I can figure out how to do it, because I'm kind of moronic at this point with the computer, but I'm working on it. If I can figure out how to do it, I'm going to cut some of those things up when he starts singing about me and turn it into an intro. So
that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I really want to do that.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I can finally get rid of the overlapping voices that I thought sounded cool the first 50 times I heard it. But
well, I like my music. I think it's rocking.
Your music is
I'm liking it.
Straightforward driving. I think it was,
that's
pick.
The kind of song that if you're in a race car, you'd go really fast down the street. I would. I'd probably get a ticket and get arrested again. Oh my God. But this time it would be legitimate because I'd be going like 100 miles an hour, 25 mile per hour zone.
Yeah, I forgot. Did you give out the phone number?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, if you're on the Charles Ochelli Skype, charles.ochelli, and you want to join in, just call me on your Skype. That's fine, too. It's Kim's show, but she's using my Skype line. So
if you want to be my friend on Skype, it's Kimberina70.
Well, yeah, but that's no good to tell them because you don't use it for the broadcast.
They could be my friend anyway.
Well, they could... Well, okay.
If they want.
Oh, okay. You want friends, honey?
Not really, but...
No? Okay.
Only a few. I use that word very... It's a very strong word, I think. To be somebody's friend, for me...
Mm-hmm. No, I understand.
Friendship
is a very subjective, kind of really defined in a strange way in modern-day society, as it were.
Oh, please.
But...
anyway.
You friend somebody on Facebook, they're not your friend.
You know what cracks me up, too? There's these... I used to get abused a lot in school because I grew up in a very expensive town where I didn't belong. So, back in the 80s, it was... You had the burnouts, where I lived in Chatham. Oh, God. You had the burnouts, then you had the jocks, and you had the preppies, with those Izod shirts with the alligator, that stupid-looking alligator, and they'd put the collar up, and then they'd wear those dumb-looking shoes with a penny in them. I think they were called penny loafers. I'm sorry, you wouldn't catch me dead dressing like that. Mm. So I would wear the concert T-shirt, so I was automatically dubbed a burnout.
Yeah, well...
Which, I'd prefer to be that than a preppy. They were like little robots. But anyway, back to my point.
Preppy, there's a word I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah, and the Bermuda bags, all that crazy... Oh, it was so horribly ugly, too.
Welcome to the I Love the 80s episode of Jaded.
Well, the 80s music was really cool. But anyway...
No, most of it was pretty bad.
No, it was not.
Oh, it was very, very bad.
It was not. You had Motley Crue.
Uh-huh.
They were good.
I'm not saying they weren't.
Well, it wasn't all that. You had the hair bands, like Bon Jovi. Personally, I think he sucks.
Motley Crue
I think he's a pompous asshole, but that's my own opinion.
Well, he was definitely a prick. I told you several times that when I was coming out of that scene on the Jersey Shore, or when I was coming into the scene, I should say, he was on his ascension. And, he was definitely a jerk. But, just on a personal level, he was a jerk, and he still is.
You know that commercial that he's in? I think it's an Advil commercial or something like that. And
he's doing Advil commercial?
I think it was Advil. It was some kind of headache medicine, etc. I don't remember exactly, but it validified my opinion of him being a pompous ass when he's talking about how he's a worldwide known musician, and he was I'll go back to that, Captain, in a minute, because I agree with you, but grunge was really cool, but I'll get back to that in a second. He's talking about being a philanthropist. First of all, I think if you're a philanthropist, you don't really brag about that. And then his last thing, which to me should have been the first thing, and I'm a father. That should have been first, before everything else.
You know what? I don't care about the batting order of his priorities.
I did.
I don't.
It irked me.
I'll tell you what bothered me is exactly what kind of a fraud this guy has always been. I mean, look, I remember the early interviews when he was trying to come across as, a hard-rocking guy. And he was
trying to be like Bruce Springsteen.
Doing his Bruce Springsteen impression. Man, on the mean streets of Sayreville.
Yeah, because they're really
because Sayreville, man, I was out there and I had a job as a shoe salesman, man. And my uncle owned a recording studio, and of course I had plenty of money, and I wasn't in a mean street area, man, because I was trying to be like Bruce, sounding kind of like I'm, pinching a loaf here while I'm wearing a lot of chicks' clothes and stuff. And,
well, you remember when Hurricane Sandy hit?
And all hail Hooper there with the Megadeth Slayer.
And the Dead Jacksons.
I don't know Dead Jacksons. I don't know that one.
Well, I personally like Pearl Jam. I like, who else do I like? Who's from there? Oh, Soundgarden, Nirvana.
Look, you just want to go with the Seattle bands. I mean,
Yes.
you got Soundgarden, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains.
Oh, they're my favorites. Alice in Chains.
But of course, all that stuff starting with like Mudhoney, Mother Love Bone.
I saw them in concert. They were good.
Chili Peppers aren't a...
well, no, but they were good anyway.
Band. Yeah, they were cool.
They were in California.
They kind of started out as like a ska band almost. I mean,
a what?
They were like a ska band. What's ska?
Yeah.
The ska is kind of like jazz punk, sort of. That's how they started out. A little bit of soul kind of fused into it. So.
Oh. Well, I liked... I still like them. I listen to Alice in Chains all the time. Anytime they... Oh, my God, Flock of Seagulls. That's hysterical.
My favorite time seeing... somebody mentioned Judas Priest. My favorite time seeing Judas Priest was in a state called Pennsylvania at about... let's think about this. I think 11 o'clock in the morning. They came out at what was then dubbed Live Aid. That was an interesting concert. But Judas Priest, I never walked out on Judas Priest, but I did walk out on Rob Halford's solo tour. See, now there's an example of you gotta counterbalance the 80s hard rock with...
Milli Vanilli. Were they the 80s too? Or was that the 90s?
Late 80s, early 90s. I don't know.
Then you had, what was that? Oh, what was his name? Oh, Wham! That's another funny one.
The fabulous
and
George
the Human
Michael Human League. And
my mother made the big mistake of buying me that album. I was like, oh no, you don't know what I listen to. Here, take this back. Give me the receipt. I'll go get what I listen to.
Yeah, well, and
she liked it.
I was going through the many machinations and incarnations of Black Sabbath at that point. I'm heavy Sabbath fan, still am.
Somebody's calling. Oh, goodness. Who could this be?
Oh, who knows?
979? All right.
All right. So we have added a number in.
All right. Hello, 979. Who's this?
This is Captain Gringo. How y'all guys doing tonight?
Hey, how are you?
Just fine.
Good.
See, I was just listening and, talking about all old bands and good times and all that. It just kind of reminded me of something from this week, listening to all the shows and everything. And Miss Jules in particular, I hate to say it, sure sounds like she sure is getting burnt out with things these days. And I just wanted to remind everybody that, it's easy to look around and see all the bad stuff around us. I mean, we look at all these stories and, I compare it to a cop riding the bad side of town. You can't do that stuff day in, day out without being jaded. And I think it's real important to look around and see the good stuff, too, because there's plenty of good left in the world, too. But if you just keep looking for the shit in the world, you'll see all the shit. I just think it's important to, look for the good, too, because there's good out there, too.
There is good, and unfortunately, I think that's a good reason for my show being called Jaded, is that they are jaded. And they've been so programmed to just listen to the bad and just see the bad. And you just got to change your whole attitude, I think, and try to see the good in everything. Because you can find it. You don't have to look that hard.
Oh, sure. And, music's a good thing, too. Going out and seeing a live show, going out and seeing some live music, that's a great way to, put this stuff out for a little while and take a break, It's too easy to get burned out and get totally jaded to the world. And, I don't know. I just think it's a good thing to see the good, too. Can't just look at all the bad.
Absolutely.
Well, and that's why on Kim's show we're trying to have like a little fun too, because we're trying to encourage it. And by the way, thanks so much for calling in.
Yeah, thank you.
It's like the decompression time, man. I mean, you're exactly right. You're dead on, because if all we do is focus on the horrible stuff that goes on, the ugly end of the stick, as it were, if that's all we do, it's going to do nothing but spread misery. And you're exactly on point, man. Thank you.
All right. Well, that's really all I wanted to say, gang. And keep up the good work. Keep the show going. And I'll get off now and get back to listening.
All right.
All right, cool, man.
Thank you, Captain.
Y'all have a good evening.
You too.
And music is a really important part of human interaction at this point. I mean, it's a great way to explore just about every emotion you can think of. And as you know, I mean, music has always been an important part of my life.
I love music. You always know when I'm coming home because my stereo in my car is always blasting.
Yeah. I mean, I got to say that, see, and I hate doing this because I just feel like, in my day, there was real music.
Well, there was. I mean, my God, Justin Bieber, what is that? I feel sorry. I wouldn't want to grow up listening to this music now. Oh, my God.
He's a tough guy. And did you see the recent big story that his,
What, he wears? He's an underwear model or
his
something?
His package may have been enhanced in the Calvin Klein ads or whatever, man. You know what I'm saying?
Enhanced? They probably had to put it there. Are you kidding me? Good Lord. I don't like any of that, the music that's out really now. I listen to all the older stuff. The one song, I happen to like Black Label Society. I think Zakk Wylde is amazing. I love listening to him. Who else do I usually crank on? Oh, and I like the new, the 13. The Black Sabbath 13.
Yeah, of course.
I like the Zeitgeist song. Yeah. That's a good one.
See, I think God is Dead is awesome. And anybody who hasn't seen that video, you gotta see it because there are so many interesting messages. It seems like whoever was directing that is definitely listening to alternative talk radio. I'll tell you that much. And watching alternative documentaries. But, it just seems that way to me. And I'll say something else. Zakk Wylde, again, another guy from Jersey, right?
Yes.
Interestingly, the guy was in a band called Zyrus, previous to getting the job with Ozzy. And I used to hang out with his keyboard player and, kind of knew those guys. I actually got thrown out of the...
Boy George, I remember him.
Oh, Boy George.
I will admit, I did.
Yeah, I remember
the
it.
Culture Club. I did like one or two songs.
Yeah, I remember it.
Shh, don't tell anybody.
Wow. I remember it. I sure do. It was on MTV a lot.
It was. When MTV was MTV, I don't know why they still call it MTV.
Well, see, because back in our day, they actually played music on music television.
Oh, I watched that.
Get off my grass.
And they had really good movies, too. Remember Fast Times at Ridgemont High? Oh, my God. And, what was that movie? Oh no, with the high school boys and they were like peeking. Oh, I can't remember it.
Calm down. You're talking about Porky's.
Yes!
Yes, I know.
Oh my God. When he was, sticking it in the hole and Beulah Ballbreaker grabbed a hold of it. I don't know when they were in the principal's office, I nearly died when they talked about putting up that wanted poster. Have you seen this prick? I almost died.
Is Willow outside?
Yes, no, she's in there barking.
Oh, good. She'll wake up the baby in another minute.
Probably, hopefully not.
Yeah, he was up late last night.
Yeah, well, anyway. Oh, and Breakfast Club, that was a really good, that's one of my favorite movies, actually, Breakfast Club.
See, now, I couldn't identify with a lot of the 80s pop culture stuff, man. I just could not be shallow enough to dig that.
What?
I couldn't.
Well, then I am a shallow human being because I like those movies.
Yeah, but did you like 16 Candles?
No, see, to me that was kind of gay.
Pretty and
that was gay.
Depeche.
No, I didn't like any of those, but I thought Fast Times at Ridgemont High was hysterical.
Yeah, see, that was almost like... It was like
real.
Yeah, well, kind of, sort of. But it was almost end of 70s deal there, like very early 80s you're talking about.
Do you want to go get him, or do you want me to?
Oh, he's crying, is he?
Yeah, you just need to go rub his back and stick his binky in his mouth. I'll continue on with the 80s.
I'll go get him. You keep revisiting the 80s,
Well, I thought they were kind of cool. But I did like the 90s because I was, 21 and 91, so... It was pretty cool then too.
Yeah, well,
What other movies were there? Trying to remember. Oh, my favorite Christmas movie though of all time, and this is going to be really bad, but A Christmas Story. I love that they have that on for 24 hours from 8 o'clock at night on Christmas Eve, all the way till 8 o'clock at night on Christmas night. I watch that the whole time it's on. I love that movie. That movie makes me laugh. Reminds me of being a kid. I liked it. I don't know if any of you guys watched it, but... Oh, yeah, and Coach Kim Ochelli in Porky's. Did you take care of him?
He wasn't stunned.
Oh, he wasn't? Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
And what other movies? I told him that how I have to watch A Christmas Story, the full 24 hours, because I just love that movie. Yeah, it makes me happy.
All right, no comment.
It does. Okay. It does. It makes me very happy. Well, I'm sorry. I didn't really get into those typical girl movies, you know, like this, like you were saying, the 16 Candles, but then there was another movie that I don't know if it was a big hit or not, but it was right around Fast Times. Was The Virgin? Remember that?
The Virgin.
Yeah. And then isn't that also when all those really cool scary movies were coming out? I was flipping through the channels to try to find news, and of course, the news tonight on CNN is, you know, the OJ trial. Please give me a break.
It wasn't The Virgin. I'm trying to think of what it was called. It was about the one. You're probably talking about the one where the guy goes and gets the girl the abortion. That movie.
Oh, I don't remember.
Because the 40-year-old virgin or whatever was way later.
No, not that. I remember that movie.
But there was another. I don't know. You know, I kind of. Like I said, a lot of that stuff was unrealistic to me because of the situation.
Oh, yes, Miami Vice, too. That was pretty good.
Oh, talk about a show I hated.
You hated that show?
I hated that show.
Oh, my God. What shows did you watch?
I thought it was absolutely terrible. What did I watch? Well, let's see.
The Cosbys?
What time period are we talking about when I was immersed in TV, exactly?
I hated Friends.
Yeah, see, that was later, and I never watched
that. Was that in the 90s?
I never watched Seinfeld either.
Seinfeld was kind of funny when it first came out, but then it kind of got played out.
Never dug Seinfeld. I just couldn't get into him.
When George Costanza, they all went up to, like, Maine or Massachusetts, and he went in the pool, and he had the problem with the shrinkage, and his girlfriend saw it.
See, maybe it's just me. I mean, I was more of a Howard Stern guy than what's the deal with airline food? No, I just couldn't. Jerry Seinfeld just wasn't funny to me. It was just.
What comedians were back then? I don't really remember.
Well, for me, I mean,
Was George Carlin in the 80s?
George Carlin was in the 70s, 80s, 90s.
He
just died a few years ago.
Funny as hell.
He's great and awfully, spot on when it comes to, psychological psychological observational humor is the term I was looking for there. But I mean, I loved Sam Kinison. I loved.
He got on my last good nerve. I couldn't stand the screaming. It's like people like that. They give me an anxiety attack.
See, I loved him. I also liked, of course, Bill Hicks later.
Bill Hicks, yeah.
Awesome comedian. Eddie Murphy was funny, and even funnier when you look back and realize he got caught with the transvestite hooker.
Yeah. Who I think is funny now, although he hasn't had many specials lately, is Chris Rock. That big goopy ass smile of his makes me laugh every time.
Chris Rock to me is,
Well, he's kind of like a...
No, he's a sad throwback to the Jack Benny era of comedy where,
but some of the stuff is funny.
Rochester was the butler on that old Jack Benny show, and pretty much Chris Rock is just a ripoff of the Rochester, the black butler character, the shining, driving at... Well, I don't know how you're doing there, Miss Betty.
But
like
some
that.
of his stuff, some of his stuff is funny.
Yeah, some of it is, and I admit that. But I mean, his persona initially came out as the young answer to Eddie Murphy when Eddie Murphy was supposedly getting old at 30. And
Arsenio Hall, all he was riding on Eddie Murphy's.
Well, he was just his friend, and therefore got in. And he was.
I didn't find him funny at all.
Well, he was much funnier.
I thought he sucked.
He was much funnier as a nightclub act, than.
They used to have on what channel? I guess it was a comedy channel that we don't have anymore. But they would have the stand-up comedian shows. Remember?
the Comedy Channel, when it first started, was pretty much just playing back-to-back clips of stand-up comedy and movies. It was sort of like, YouTube before YouTube for comedy. And it was pretty cool because you'd see a lot of different comedians. And to be honest with you, I've been trying to wrangle up a round table of comedians for my show. And it's hard.
I like Ralphie May.
Ralphie May's kind of funny, too. He's interesting, but I don't know. He just doesn't... I'm really a harsh critic when it comes to stand-up comedians. There's only certain people that really make me laugh, and they're usually kind of the harsher, more rebellious kind of guys.
I don't find very many women comedians funny.
Well, I don't know what to say to you there. I mean, there's not a lot of really great female stand-ups in my estimation. I mean, I've had Terry Joyce on the show, and she's, kind of interesting, and I like her as a person. But, I mean, where I rank her on the comedy scale, I don't know, because I haven't been particularly moved to think she's terrible or great. But she's a decent performer, and she's got some interesting... I think she should get more into her personal life, telling stories like that, because that was always the thing that would strike me. I mean, the type of comedian like say an Elaine Boozler used to be was pretty bad.
Well, I saw Ellen
DeGeneres. I thought was awful.
I saw her in live performance, and I had to go to the bathroom so bad I had to pee, and I was standing there with my legs crossed in line, obviously because there were mostly women there.
Well,
I said, you know what, I'm going in the men's room. And I got right in and out, and I sat back down to my seat, and there were still people in line, women in line. Oh, Sandra Bernhard, I'm sorry, but she's got to be one of the most ugliest women. Sarah Silverman's funny. But Sandra Bernhard, I gotta tell you, she's one of the most ugliest women I have ever seen.
Yeah, Amy Schumer is all right, but see, again, it's remarkable to me that the most memorable thing about Ellen DeGeneres' show is the fact that you had to wait online to pee. That about sums it up.
But I didn't wait because I said, you know what? There's nobody in the men's room, so I'm going in there.
What's her name? The Queen of Mean is kind of funny.
Who's that?
Oh, God, I'm trying to remember her name. She does a lot of the roasts now. And most of her the only problem is she's so repetitious because most of her jokes are basically, racial slurs and about how she bangs a lot of black dudes. I can't remember her name now.
Oh, I don't know who that is. But Sarah Silverman's funny. Wasn't she going out with, wasn't Jimmy Kimmel, the other guy?
See, I don't know, because when it comes to celebrities, I don't really care who they're, married to this week. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they went out for a really long time.
But even
I can't remember his name. Why isn't it coming to me?
I mean, like, Whoopi Goldberg was absolutely brilliant when she was younger, but then she just, became like a sad left-wing political hack.
Well, now she's on The View.
Yeah, I know.
Yikes.
Sad left-wing political hack. And, what else can I say about it? I mean, she was funny. Know. She was funny when she was playing, a drug addict, named Fontaine on Broadway. She was an interesting performer, made some social commentaries about stuff there, but wound up going into a whole, Holocaust spiel, while speaking through the character of a junkie, which, okay, fine.
You remember when she was dating Ted Danson and he came out?
Yeah, in blackface.
Yeah.
See,
wow, look at that.
Well, there you go. Now there's somebody who actually, so she was about as funny as she could be right there.
And the Saturday Night Live, I think, was much better in the 80s.
Well, Saturday Night Live, was good in the 70s.
Yes.
Was pretty good in the 80s. I mean, don't forget, Chris Rock came out of there.
Who's saying my show is anti-Semitic? It absolutely is not.
Which, wait a minute, make up your mind, because, I'm usually being accused of being the the Zionist defender and people call me Ochelli Berg. Yeah, right. So it's supposed to be Ochelli Berg.
I think that's funny.
So,
because I'm about as non-Jewish as you can possibly find.
Gold Ochelli Steam, I saw once. Whatever.
But whatever.
I don't care. Pick your fairy tale.
And on 3685 really does not like Sarah Silverman.
Oh, well.
I'm sorry. Some of her stuff I thought was funny.
That's good. I can't even remember who she is.
Oh, so much joking. Okay, that's good. Thank you. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, about Saturday Night Live. Then there was a show after that, I thought. Or maybe it was, they were trying to do a Friday night show, and that one really sucked.
Well, a lot of them did. But what do you call it? Chris Rock was on there in the 80s.
Oh, and Living Color was pretty funny.
Well, and Living Color was a whole other thing, yeah. That was Keenan Ivory Wayans' show. Of course, Damon Wayans, there's another funny guy.
Yeah, he's funny.
He was really part of one of the best parts of that cast. I always found it remarkable. Well, of course, it was like, the Wayans family project, too, because Sean Wayans, who now is in every, goofy, scary movie or whatever the hell they call those movies now.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Of course, got his major break to kind of do his own thing when he did, what was that called? Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your gin and juice or whatever the hell it was. It was a big old mockery of the Boys in the Hood films and stuff. That was pretty funny. I kind of dug that, but I mean...
But I don't find Jim Carrey funny now. He gets on my last nerve.
Jim Carrey was only funny in that it was like theater of the absurd in a one-man band put together. I mean, but all of
Fire Marshal Tom or... What did he play?
Fire Marshal Tim or
Tim, Bill, Bob.
Fire Marshal Bill, I think, maybe. But, the guy would, set himself on fire, and, he's good at acting like a mental patient, pretty much. And, hey, look, if you can get paid that much to act like a mental patient, where do I sign up?
Did John Belushi leave the show, or did he leave because he died?
No, John Belushi, well, that's a whole other weird story, but, of course... Then we had to deal with Jim Belushi afterwards.
He's not funny.
No, sadly, no. A mild reminder of his brother, but...
He kind of looks like his brother, just not as heavy.
And the veneration of Chris Farley, who I did not think was funny. A sad ripoff of John Belushi.
What about this guy that's out there now?
Which one?
Kevin, I think his name's Kevin Hart.
Well, Kevin Hart's kind of funny. He's not bad.
He was on Jimmy Kimmel's show the other night.
No, that's because he's promoting
his movie Wedding Ringers or something like that.
Something about being like a best man for hire or some ridiculous hackneyed premise without,
I liked. There's a few movies out now that I want to see. I want to see American Sniper. That looks like it. That's a true story.
Yeah, I might be interested in that one. I'm not sure.
His wife wasn't really happy that he was being portrayed in a movie, I read.
Well, this happens a lot. I mean, for those that believe that most movies, even if they're based on true events or true characters, have anything to do with the reality of the situation, I mean, for God's sake, they never do. I mean, a Hollywood presentation's a Hollywood presentation. And, whenever somebody does try and get some truth out there in a movie, they usually get spanked for it.
Jim Belushi's the best argument for voluntary decapitation. Ow.
Decapitation?
Oh my God!
Wow, not even sterilization, like
No, just cut your freaking head off. Just be done with it already. You want to chop
Jim Belushi's head off?
He cut his own head off.
Oh, wow!
Yikes!
So, assisted, suggested, or incited suicide. Yeah, okay.
There's a few people I've met in my lifetime. I wouldn't mind if they just went away.
Well, yeah,
by whatever means.
If there was a river of sulfuric acid for them to climb into, there's a few people.
What if I gave them a little push?
Should be, given numbers for that line, but hey, enough about Barack Obama. But
oh wow,
moving forward, let's see, what else happened? Well, how about this? Let's get into some actual stuff. You want to get into some stuff, or you
What
just want
stuff?
to keep BSing?
It depends. What kind of stuff?
I don't know. What do you think of the whole French, terrorist construct that's being touted about, and the whole radicalization of your children and all that? What do you think about it?
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
You're going deep.
No, I don't want to go too deep. I got a couple stories up here. You want to cover them?
I don't know. Let's see. What are they about?
Well, let's see.
Homeless. What's that? Children. Oh my! Children are caged to keep the streets clean for the Pope. Are you kidding me?
Well, yeah, that's one thing I was trying to read.
What's that about?
In the Daily Mail.
Oh my! Oh, that's awful. I don't know. The thing with I think part of the French thing, I think part of it is obviously to generate fear. But I don't really know. I didn't pay much attention.
Okay.
Well, I did kind of, because that's all that was on the television at 6 in the morning when I'm trying to get ready for work. I don't know what my opinion is about that, really. I don't really have one.
All right. Well, let's put it this way. I've got...
Why do you want me to read something?
Well, no, I was just thinking if you wanted to actually, cover some informational stuff.
Why?
Okay. Then we don't have to. It's your show. I was just looking at stuff that I didn't get to. I was going to try and go over these things with Jillian, but we wound up in a long, sort of spiraled conversation.
No, I'm not in the mood to be serious. It's Saturday night at 10:38, and I'm not. No.
All right, screw the news. If it doesn't bleed, it doesn't lead, and who cares?
I don't know where I'm at with it.
Moving on.
I'm not the serious one of the Ochellis.
Well,
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I can be, but not at 10:30 at night.
Well, why not?
Because it's Saturday night and it's fun. It's supposed to be. Anyway.
Well, hey, anybody wants to call in 718-717-8296, and we'll join you right into the call. Big thanks to Captain Gringo earlier, because you know what? He never called into my show. So.
He called into my show.
Yeah, never called into mine. You get callers that are... Where's Hecty been, by the way?
I don't know.
I have not heard from Hecty in a bit.
Maybe he's doing something with the signals the dam is sending to the earthquakes or something. Wasn't he talking about that? I don't remember.
I got a little lost on that one. I didn't quite understand, but, That
was the night of, no sleep, so I lost a lot of my concentration, which I don't really have any at 10:30 at night. I don't care to concentrate.
No, it happens.
I don't. It's just not what I'm into.
It happens. But anybody who's either wants to call in through the number 718-717-8296, or if you're on the Charles.Ochelli, it's spelled Ochelli, Skype list, you can either send a contact request, or you can call right through, and we'll join you right into the conversation. Cover anything you want to cover.
You know what I find to be annoying?
What's that?
Well, being that we weren't born in the South, and everything's so proper. Well, apparently a couple of my tattoos were showing, and that was a big topic of conversation at work on Friday.
Clash of cultures, yeah, it is interesting in our age group, because we're a little bit out of the norm for our area. Well, first of all, we're white, which is not...
Well, that's one thing. And then, I'm really tired of people asking me if Francis is my grandson. First of all, I don't look like a grandmother.
Well, but see, you do.
No, I do not.
Well, but you do. And here's why.
You're going to be in trouble later.
Well, sure, I'll be in trouble later. That was the other thing earlier, by the way, is that somebody tried to challenge me, and I said, I don't fear anybody, and then they said, well, we'll ask Kim when she comes on if you do.
No, you don't. I don't give you a reason to fear me.
Well, yeah, but I'm not smart enough to fear anybody, so...
I'm not mean.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Well,
all right.
Most times. I can be a bitch, just like the rest of us.
Ooh, I just
women.
Stopped it. Okay. Anyway.
I'll take, hey, if you know what, if you got to claim it, if it's yours.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'll claim it.
Well, anyway, back to the clash of cultures, right? So we're in kind of an odd area because we're in a primarily black neighborhood, first of all. Second of all, we're from up north, so we talk faster and we have different mannerisms and different everything, drive faster. So why don't you tell everybody what your tattoos are of, by the way, and where they are, because...
Well, you can't see them. I have 3 on my back. I have a tattoo. One of them is my angels are my daughters. Then in the center, I have my Celtic Wheel of Balance. I think it's Celtic.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then on my right shoulder, down a little bit lower, is my daylilies with my butterfly. And on my left leg, I have chili peppers. Like the real, not the band.
Not the band, no, but actually
the hot
like
peppers.
A chili, yeah.
A bunch of chili peppers.
Chili pepper bunch, right.
Yeah. And you can't see them, but the one on my shoulder, the shirt I was wearing at work, comes down just a little bit lower, and you could see, like, the shoulder. And it was like this big topic of conversation. I'm thinking to myself, damn.
Did you have to see the angels on your shoulder blade, or was
it that one?
Okay.
And I don't have my nose ring in anymore. My earring in my nose.
Thank God.
I took that out. I thought it was cool.
I hate that one.
I just didn't understand why it was such a big to-do. Not everybody with tattoos are in a gang, crying out loud. And I put them where they are, is so if I have to go somewhere where it requires me to be a lady, which isn't that many places. Do my chili pepper tattoo have this? No. No, they do not.
What was the question?
I can't repeat that on the air.
You can repeat anything.
Oh, yes, I can. It wants to know if I have if my pepper tattoo have socks on their cocks. But you know what?
No, it's not the band. It's actually
it's
chili
a bunch
peppers.
Like you cook with the hot peppers. You know, like you have a green pepper and a red pepper. Well, these are a bunch of red chili peppers. That was my first one that I got a long time ago. Tattooed on his forehead. That's awesome. Sometimes I think I have an invisible asshole across my forehead that only comes out occasionally.
Well,
or sucker.
Invisible ink. What can I say?
I don't know. But I couldn't. It was just like I was sitting there trying, and I finally gave up because you know what? I don't need to explain myself to anybody. First of all,
I just realized I'm actually one tattoo ahead of you, aren't I?
Not 5. For long.
I got 5.
Yeah. I'm trying to find a good one for Francis. I just haven't come up with one yet, and they are addicting. Once you get one, I mean, you got to get more.
See, I don't find it addictive. It's just
I do. I get in that zone when they're doing it, and the coloring part is what hurts the most. You got to get your brain in that zone. But I mean, I've had kids, so if I can pop a kid out, I can go through. Well,
I hate the process of being drilled. So
what?
I hate the process of being drilled.
One thing I'll never get is my belly button pierced. I cannot stand my belly button being touched.
No, I've only ever had my left ear pierced twice, you know.
I used to pierce my own ear.
I don't know.
There was something else we did in the 80s. You get the ice cube and you numb your ear and you jam a safety pin through it.
Well, in fairness, they were doing that a while.
Well, I know, but, I was...
I'm just saying it wasn't an exclusively 80s thing.
No, I'm just saying that's something that I did.
Oh, okay.
Not exclusive.
Well, I'm just saying it's not something that you would exclusively, say occurred in the 80s.
For me.
Well, for you.
There's a lot of things I did back when I was younger that, oh my God.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do now.
Me too.
I was talking about the pool hall the other night. Which I don't think a lot of people know, but years ago, we both lived in New Jersey, but before I actually met Chuck, I was at a bar called EJ's on the Seaside Heights Boardwalk, and you play pool there. And unfortunately, a lot of Staten Island guys would come down to the Jersey Shore, which hence the Jersey Shore show. They're not from New Jersey. I don't know how many people realize that or not, but they're all from New York.
We used to call them,
anyway.
Well, we used to call them bennies.
Yes, they are bennies, exactly.
And what it was is that, okay, the Jersey Shore would get kind of invaded by people from North Jersey and New York. It was
Bayonne, Elizabeth.
Bayonne, Elizabeth, Newark, New York.
Right.
You spell, if you use the first letters of each of those places, you can spell the word Benny. So they were bennies. And they would come and they would invade the Jersey Shore like it was, I don't know what. It was like, I don't know, white trash Acapulco.
It was awful.
Yeah, I mean, it was just chaos. But I
was in there playing pool with another person.
Well, EJ's was a bar,
yes,
right?
But it also had pool tables.
What I was going to explain is one side of the place is a bar. I mean, just a long, large bar. The other side of a fairly narrow building, which is right on the boardwalk in Seaside Heights, is lined with pool tables. I think there's 6 of them. 6 or 8 of them, I forget. Or maybe it's changed over the years. And in the very back would be video games or a ping pong table at one point just before you go to the bathrooms.
Right.
Well, anyway, very popular stop. It's right there on one of the... the ramps that go up to the boardwalk itself, the main boardwalk. So, I mean, it's in a good spot, very popular. Stays open year-round, even though a lot of the businesses on the boards there don't.
Yeah, we went there and played pool before we moved down here. That was fun.
Right, and kind of as a way to
I was pregnant,
reminisce.
though, and I couldn't have a beer.
Yeah.
I had a soda.
So I drank beer.
I know, and I had to smell it.
Well, I told you I wouldn't drink if you didn't want me to, and you said, well,
I'll tell you not to drink. I just had to sniff it. That's all.
I was just trying
anyway,
to be respectful of you,
But back in, what was it, 22 or 3? Something like that. But, when you're that young, you don't really give thought to the consequences of your actions and or behavior.
Yeah, so we're talking like 93, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So I'm there with somebody else playing pool, and usually how you hold a pool table, if you're going to the bathroom or going up to the bar to get a drink, is you put money on it. Right?
Right.
That's how you hold your table.
You put your quarters down because we're talking about, pool tables where you actually push you line the quarters in the slots and then you push the thing in and boom, the balls come out.
Right.
And all that. So what it is that, like I said, there's a line of these there. And
you don't hold a table by putting your sticks down on it.
No, most people, would put their money on the table, put their stack of quarters or put their dollar or whatever. And
no, I'm not drinking wine this evening.
Put the chalk on top of the dollar, let's just say. Something like that you do to hold a table. And you usually don't go far and all that. But when you put your sticks on the table, generally speaking, that was like sort of a,
indication that you're done.
An inconsiderate way of saying you're done, because really what you should do is put them back in the rack, which, there were racks interspersed with the pool tables.
And there were 4 of them there, and all 4 people. They were 4 of them from New York, 2 guys, and I won't even call their ladies because they weren't. But anyway, that's beside this point.
Probably big hair, scantily dressed, obnoxiously make-upped.
I don't recall because I was just going there to have, a couple pitchers of beer and play some pool.
New Yorker chicks, even though they're down here, they want to tell you that it's so much better in New York.
What's my tipple tonight? Oh, actually, some Lipton Brisk iced tea. Sorry about that. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh, right. So they're at the bar drinking, and their pool sticks are on the table. So I said to the person I was with, well, they're not playing. And he's saying, well, they are. Their sticks are on the table. No, that's not how you hold the table.
Was he your boyfriend then, or was he your husband?
I don't remember what year it was. It depends what year it was.
93.
Then he would have been my husband.
Okay, so you're...
Oh, my God.
You're there with...
say that out loud.
Well, you're there with your husband.
Oh, anyway.
No, because it puts it in better context, actually, as far as I'm concerned. Again, we don't know each other, but you're there with your husband, and you're sitting at the bar waiting for a table.
No, I wasn't waiting for the table. I walked in, and all the other tables were being played.
Oh, my mistake. Okay.
And it was summertime. Mm-hmm. So anyway, they weren't holding the table properly. So, being 22, I don't give thought to what I'm doing. And I had been drinking earlier in the day because we had a boat. So we were out on the boat in the bay during the day, and then we'd go to one of the bars, wherever it might have been, Seaside Heights or in La Bolette, whatever. So, anyway, I start taking their pool sticks off the table and getting ready to...
We're getting ready to push your coins in and rack up.
Rack up, that's what I'm looking for. And the one guy comes over to me, and before he comes over to me, he grabs the stick out of the holder, and he's trying to be a tough guy, saying, this is my table, in his New York accent. And I said, well, no, actually it isn't, because you didn't hold the table properly. So he was I think he was just trying to be a show-off in front of, his girl and his guy friend, whatever, and his girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And so it got into a little bit of a heated conversation, and he told me he was going to bash my head in with the pool stick. And he raised it above his head, and all of a sudden, how you brace, you're getting ready to be hit. And somebody pulled me out of the bar, and then apparently somebody else took this guy out with the... What'd you grab him with?
Well,
the bridge.
Yeah, well, you kind of just gave away the punchline, but...
Well, there wasn't really a punchline. It's not funny.
Well, but here's the thing. It throws her arm up over her head to kind of like shield herself real quick, and is expecting to fully get, clocked with a pool cue.
He would have split my head in half.
Because he had, he
was much bigger than me.
Reared back with the cue over his head, like
he's getting ready to swing at a baseball. My head was a baseball.
So at this time, I walked in what was like these open side doors that, in the summertime at least, were just wide open. I think there was...
Well, Chuck wasn't my husband then. He just happened to walk in.
I walk in, yeah, exactly. I walked in at exactly this point where this guy had just cocked, cocked the bat back, as it were, or cocked the pool cue back to clock her in the head with it. So I had picked up the bridge on my way in, which I don't know if everybody knows what a bridge is in pool, I'm sure.
If they play pool, they do.
So I picked up the bridge on my way in, and I saw this, and I don't know, being the...
Well, you would have been, about 21?
Being the nut I was walking in with my little entourage, because I was a musician back then.
Right.
And, so a bunch of long-haired guys with leather jackets on, even though it's summertime, walk into a bar, and I see this, and I just dropped the bridge around the guy's neck, and yanked him backwards when he was just about mid-stroke, getting ready to clock her with the...
meanwhile, my husband's standing in a corner peeing his pants. So
I yanked this guy outside, and,
beat the piss out of him.
Gave him a moment to rethink his actions, and, he just wanted to beat me with the pool cue, so I proceeded to beat the living hell out of him with the bridge.
Yeah, but what's weird about it is, 20 years later... I was telling Chuck about the story.
Well, let's finish the story, though.
Sorry. Because there's more to it.
There's a little more to it, because I'm whooping up on this dude outside on the boardwalk with the bridge, beating him with the weighted end of the bridge, and, kind of hurt him pretty good. His friends didn't come out after him, I think because my friends probably blocked them from coming out the door. What I didn't know is that the one guy that was with us, who was the smaller of us, ran around and grabbed her, and we didn't know each other.
He said, "You need to go now."
Yeah,
so I did.
Grabbed her by the arm, said, "You need to go now. Let her out another door." And my boys that were with me pretty much split up the witnesses, which is what they would do, because they knew that the cops were going to get called over this. And,
no doubt. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that to you.
No problem. By the time we're done, by the time I was done, whooping the crap out of this dude.
Whooping his ass.
My friends come out and go, "Look, we got to get out of here because the cops are going to be here in a minute." So we jump back in our car and take off. And I never saw her. All I knew is that there was this puff of blonde hair. So I didn't know nothing. I was just like, and I got a lot of crap from my friends because I had just ruined their night because we were going to go there and drink and shoot pool and just kind of relax and have fun. And of course, I'd ruined their night by getting involved in some crap that didn't involve me.
And you didn't even get my phone
number.
And
I didn't even get a phone number. And of course, later on, that evolved into, well, you should have at least gotten blown for that.
Wow.
Because after all,
oh my God.
You went and risked jail time for some chick you don't even know.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, moving on.
20 years later, I'm telling them the story about when I was younger and used to go to this pool hall.
Well, she started to tell me the story, and I said, she's talking about EJ's, and I cut her off, and I said, you know what? Funniest thing happened to me in EJ's. I said, and I proceeded to tell her my end of the story, and she started going, wait a minute, this and this and this, and we realized that without knowing it, I had kept her from getting her head beat in with a stick.
He would have totally split my head wide open. Because he was, one of those big, typical, and I hate to say typical because that's really probably not fair. But
he was a meathead-looking dude, I think he was in a tank top or something like that.
Yeah, those muscle T-shirts that they wear?
Yeah, he was just like a muscular dude. And I'm not a muscular dude.
He was a big dude. You're just crazy.
I was just crazy, but he was about the same height as me, and she's about 5'3", and, big hair. So all I saw was a big puff of blonde hair and, clearly female, about ready to get her head beat in by this dude cocking his stick back over his head. Like he was going to take a full swing.
Sipping a whiskey for you.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. I could really use some JD about now. But...
Why?
Because I like it.
Oh. Well, it's just because you like it, not because you really need it right now.
No, I wasn't trying to read into that like I need to drink away my miseries or anything like that.
There's no misery. It's all fun.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway.
Did you just burp?
Yeah, I did.
Wow. It doesn't quite rate up to my burp, but
no, of course not. I was trying to do it quietly because we're on the air.
Yes, big hair in Jersey, but it wasn't really that big. Well, maybe it was.
Your hair was pretty big.
Yeah, yes, it was.
Own it.
All right, I'll own it.
All right. No, she was a big-haired Jersey chick, little bit. She just wasn't stupid. Anyway.
No, I'm not stupid.
What is the difference between the garbage on the streets in New York City and the women on the streets in New Jersey? Well, sometimes in New York, you might want to pick up the garbage. Okay, moving on.
Hey. Hey. Yeah, well.
You get confused between those, puffy hairdos back then.
No doubt. You got to look at their face because, you could have been depending on a guy.
Well, that was the other thing.
Well, probably not because I had boobs.
No, yeah, you were too big-chested. If you were a dude with breasts like that, I don't know.
Hey!
But, what?
Wow. All right, everybody now knows. Well, whatever. Anyway.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, yeah.
I could just see my picture on Facebook.
Well,
you can't. Oh, yes, you can. You can see a little bit
You're almost like Dolly Parton style back then, so that's okay.
No, I do not talk like the nanny. Oh, that voice is obnoxious.
I talk like the nanny?
Yeah. I had big hair like she did. Remember the nanny?
Fran Drescher. Oh, Mr. Sheffield. Oh.
Could you imagine that show being a porn show?
No, I can't even. I've heard guys talk about how she was kind of hot and blah blah.
She had a nice figure.
You just put a gag in her mouth.
Keep her mouth shut. Dude, stick a sock in there or something.
No, I don't think I could maintain myself for that. All she would have to say, "Take your pants off." I would just have to...
if you had an erection, it would be gone.
Well, but later on that night, I might be quite content to sneak up on my right hand because, just no. I never found her attractive. I'm sorry.
Oh, Lord.
Anyway.
On to... What? Now I'm all confused.
Why are you confused?
I don't know. Anyway... Yeah, you'd have to put a sock in that one again. Oh, so how did we cross paths again? Actually, we ended up living in the same town.
Yeah, and, you're skipping part of the story.
What? What? With her ankles? Wow, her ankles behind her ears. Well, maybe.
The diner. No, see, I'd have to put her ankles behind my ears to muffle the noise. But even so, just not attractive.
What's the rest of the story? That pretty much was
the
it.
The diner.
Oh, that was before that, though.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing.
Then another time.
You have this crossing of paths that occurred a couple of times.
That's true. You're right.
So
you are correct in that, yes.
Still having been a musician and having finished, doing whatever it was I was doing that night at some club somewhere. Don't remember which one, but do remember distinctly walking into a restaurant with, again, bandmates, entourage, etc.
Well, I was there because he wasn't my husband at the time yet, but I wanted to go out that night.
Yeah, so this story is actually previous.
This is earlier. This is like from 1991 or something like that.
To the pool cue story. So here I am at the age of about
years.
Yeah, at the age of about 19.
Yeah.
But doing my thing with my boys, and now it's time to get something to eat, because if all you do is drink beer all day, eventually you've got to get something to eat.
You always go to a diner too in the morning after drinking.
Yeah, so we went to.
That's at least what we did in New Jersey, but
yeah, that's why there used to be 24-hour diners in New Jersey, because they got plenty of business after the bars closed.
Absolutely. You got to go get your eggs and toast.
That's why I love living in New York City, though, because the bars closed at 4.
Oh.
Yeah, so by the time you could go to a pizza place at 4 in the morning, though.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah, you
like pizza.
Go get pizza, KFC, whatever you wanted at 4 a.m.
Nice.
And
the diner was fun, though.
You would eat, and if you were really drunk, you would take your time eating, and by the time you left, pizza place, diner, whatever, the sun would be coming up. But back to the diner that we were in about 91.
Right, I was
there. So I walk in, and, I walk into the place and something happened, but you could tell them what happened before I got there.
Well, I was there with a guy and another girl.
Totally different part of New Jersey, by the way.
Yeah, this was in North Arlington?
Something like that.
Something like that.
It was North
Jersey, but I had gone out with a guy and another girl, and we were drinking, I think we went to a bowling alley, and we were drinking, what were those called? Red Devils.
No, Red Death.
Red Death. I think they called them Red Devils, but same drink
it's
anyway.
Red Death. It's like a Harvey Wallbanger and a Kamikaze.
I don't know what it was, but I obviously had a little too many of them. So we end up going to a diner at, I think it was like 2 in the morning. And I get up to go to the bathroom, and he had to be 16 or 17 years old. He's following me, telling me that I was the most beautiful angel he's ever seen. And meanwhile, you're too little to even be out this time of night, first of all. And he wouldn't leave me alone. He's following me as I'm going into the bathroom. So I get into the bathroom, and I do whatever I need to do. And then I'm coming out, and he's standing there outside the bathroom door. And I had my head turned, trying to tell him to leave me alone, and I bumped into something, and it ended up being Chuck that I bumped into. And I was kind of walking fast because this person was bothering me, and I bumped into you, and right. I was like, well, and you're just gonna tell him, well, I saw her tits before I saw her. That's not nice to say.
See, you just killed my joke. Because I walk into a diner, basically, here's my side of the story. I walk into the diner, again, with my friends, whatnot, and the bathroom was positioned near the front door of the place. So I essentially just step in. I don't know if I was wearing a trench coat, leather jacket, or both.
Yes, you were wearing, I remember it, because I had to look up at you, because I'm only 5'3".
Well, first of all, you're 5'3", and second of all, I used to wear motorcycle boots. Like I had these Harley Davidson boots I was really proud of.
Yeah. But you had on a long coat.
And I had on the leather jacket underneath the trench coat.
I don't know that.
So I walk in there after doing a gig, blah blah blah, and I'm just tired and hungry, and all that happened to me is this short little chickie slams into me, but she had really, really big breasts, so the joke...
No, you used the proper word. I thought you were going to come out and say she had big tits.
No, hey, look, I try and keep it clean when I'm on the air mostly.
Not on my show. It's not necessary.
No, but you do your thing. That's fine. But generally speaking, I mean, I don't swear much on my show or anything. But the thing is...
No, he really did. He just happened... it was the first time. He just happened to... I bumped into you.
Coincidentally, I walk in and I get 2 steps in the door, stop, and I'm slammed into by a really big-chested, 5-foot something to my recollection. I mean, she was about 5 foot tall, but she's actually 5'3". Slams into me and was like, "Oh, excuse me," and I'm like, "No problem," and she goes away.
Well, okay. I had to go back to finish my toast.
So. I sit down with my friends. I don't remember if I sat at I think I sat at the counter. I think there was a counter area up front.
I don't recall.
It's a vague thing because, I really didn't give it much thought because here's what happened. I used to walk around with demo tapes and stuff, and this was a good way to introduce myself, spread around my music, this kind of thing. So I more than likely took out a demo tape out of my pocket. Most of which we sold at the shows, but we always gave some away, leave one along with the tip for the waitress, hoping that we would get fans or whatever next time going back through that town. Maybe they'd come and see us, this kind of deal. So I have my demo tape, my little business card, whatever, and, vaguely I recall, because I was turned down in my estimation, that there was this somewhat a pretty chick with large breasts that slammed into me. So I go investigate because she just seemed kind of pretty. So I go over to the table and where I know she went to, because a friend of mine made sure to watch where the chick slammed into me went. So he tells me, "Look, she's over in that back corner area over there or whatever." So I go over there and she's laying down in a booth. With, I guess, her head on her friend's lap.
I had that on my girlfriend's lap, yes. I was tired.
So I go over there to try and talk to her, and her friend's, waving me away, go away, go away. So I just kind of put the tape on the table and was like, okay, then, and walked away. Yeah. But I remember it because, my friends were laughing at me for being turned away by a chick who just slammed into me.
But I didn't do it. I was taking a nap.
Took 5 seconds for you to get turned down that time, Chucky? This kind of thing. And I was like, well, what can you do?
Were they the same people that were at the pool hall with you or a different group?
Let me think. 91. It might have had one of the same guys in it.
No, my breasts aren't really large anymore. Because I had a reduction.
Yeah, one of the same guys who was my permanent... In
case you were wondering.
One of my permanent roadies for a while was probably with me in both instances. But it would have been a different set of guys. So, it was they were busting my chops about how I just got turned down in 5 seconds and didn't even get to talk to her or anything else.
And I was drunk.
And I kind of went, well, at least... I
was drunk.
I said, what do you want me to do? I'm sitting here and this pair of tits slammed into me, and then 5 minutes later the rest of the chick hit me. What else am I supposed to do? I tried. Hey.
Well, I had to get something done because, you know what? And I got turned down the first time from the insurance company, so I wrote them a letter, and I said if I had to run for my life, I couldn't. That's what I put in the letter.
Well, if you went running, you definitely would have
hurt myself.
You would have wound up with some welts on your face.
No doubt, they were just too big for my little body.
Obnoxiously large.
They were.
Of course, I was not involved in the breast reduction discussion.
No, that was my own decision because I didn't know you.
Right. So.
But truly, no, that's what I wrote back. I got denied the first time, and I wrote back and I said. If I had to run for my life because I was being checked, I would not be able to. And I probably should be an inch or two taller, I think, because I have a small curve in my back. Yeah. They were just not normal, that's all I'm going to say. So I made them normal.
Yeah.
Some things need to be fixed. I don't agree with, all that plastic surgery that people do. I was on the internet at work because we were slow, and
Did you go to plastic surgery disaster?
Oh my God. Some of those people are absolutely hideous. There's this one lady, I don't know what the hell she was doing. Good Lord, she doesn't even look like a person anymore.
Well, Joan Rivers, by the time she died, looked like Bambi on acid. So, you know.
Well, she admitted to having like 100 and start the big titty registry to help women out. Well, you know, if there was a way that I could have helped the less fortunate, I would have. But I don't think they can do that.
I don't know. You could probably figure out a way to transfer that tissue from one to another. I don't know.
Ew.
Maybe.
I don't know either, but it's just something that had to be done because it was just not normal. It was very hard to find like a bathing suit that fit right and stuff like that. Not that people need to know that information, but
get a T-shirt that's one size too small, and voila, a bathing suit for you.
I didn't want to wear a T-shirt over my bathing suit. I'd like to go
not
out.
A bathing suit under your T-shirt, just a T-shirt for the top.
Oh. Well, no. That wouldn't have been good.
All right. Well, my suggestion. See, this is why I wasn't involved in the discussion also.
I did enter a wet T-shirt contest once. I came in second.
Well, that's news to me. Okay.
I never
came in second, huh?
Yeah.
What beat you?
Oh, I don't know exactly why, but I don't know. I really don't know. I was happy with second.
A wet T-shirt. I don't know why I'm having trouble picturing you in a wet T-shirt contest.
Because you didn't know me when I was in my 20s. I was kooky crazy.
Yeah, well, was.
Still am a little bit, but it's alright. It adds fun to the Ochelli household.
Ochelli. For God's sake.
That cracks me up.
I just don't know what to say about it anymore. I really don't.
I think it's funny.
Okay.
See, you gotta find the good in everything. And to me, that's funny.
Alright.
No? I think so. Yeah. Anyway. One thing I never found to be fun and couldn't understand why people would do it. What's with the Jello wrestling and the mud wrestling? Like, why do guys get into that? Watching girls do that? Because they're slithering around all messy together?
That's a throwback. I don't even know if they do that anymore. The oil wrestling and mud wrestling and all that. I don't know if that's even a thing anymore. Is it?
Probably. Well, I don't know, because I don't go to the same places I went to when I was...
Well, see, I don't know. Strip clubs and girly clubs like that, I mean, they've taken a serious beating because, you can be a perv in the privacy of your own home without having to
pay for it.
Without having to tip a chick every 2 seconds. So, I don't know. I don't know if that's even a business anymore, but...
well, there's Delilah's, I know, in New Jersey. Supposedly they were, like, the classier of the women that were in the strip clubs.
Yeah, that's a fallacy.
Well, I wouldn't know.
But...
I don't go frequent those places often.
Well, there you go.
I didn't. And I never went to, like, a male dance club either.
Yeah, that's always a thing. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if that industry exists anymore, really. I mean, I guess there's a few examples of it, and there's still, an audience for that kind of live entertainment. But, I mean, any excuse to get a woman naked and installation
whacking
positions.
off, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
You can do that in your own home.
Well, right.
See, that's what I don't understand. Why would a guy want to pay money that he went and worked all week for to go get a hard-on that's not going to be taken care of?
Well, because, depending on where you go...
Can somebody explain that to me?
Because depending on where you go, it can kind of get taken care of.
But you got to pay a lot of money for that.
You know what a lap dance is, right?
Of course I do.
Okay, so you get dry humped for your,
Well, what good is that?
Well, if they're good at it, lots of guys, conclude in their pants.
Well, okay, well, yeah, I get the visual. I mean,
No, but they actually...
I know that.
Okay, so...
But, I don't know. Doesn't sound like much fun. Why would you want to do that with your pants on?
Well, why would a guy pay for sex at all? I mean, here we go.
Well, that's a whole nother novel.
Well, but that's the thing, is that that's at least...
Well, that's true. Sometimes the thrill of the chase is more...
It's just up to the legal, you know what I mean? It's like, it's almost like, well, that's how you stay with, like, having a legal prostitute, basically.
Yeah. That's another thing. Why would anybody want to pick up a prostitute?
Well, there you go with the sex drive. I mean, if you want it, you want it, and you got to get it from somewhere, so...
I don't know. Anyway, next chapter. Next rabbit hole.
Oh,
Let me hop in my Jeep and head over that way.
Nobody's calling in, or
where are we going to go? Where do you want to go?
Where do you want to go?
I don't know. Anybody have a... can't get glider. Oh, wow. Anybody have a suggestion in the chat room of what rabbit hole we should hop on down this evening? Oh, there's a new show coming out. I'm going to completely get off the porn topic. There's a new show coming out on A&E that I want to watch.
Okay.
And I just totally lost the name of it. But it's about paramedics and EMTs, how you like kind of follow them around. Okay. Yeah, it's like cops, but it's about EMTs.
No.
Which makes me want to go back to being an EMT. But not around here, because I hear too many gunshots, and I don't think I would want to take care of that.
Well, if you become proficient, you know, with dealing with, gunshot wounds, I guess, that could be a skill set that would be in high demand in certain areas.
I know. Well, if they ache a lot, use a wheel. Oh, Lord, I don't have them anymore. I don't have that problem. I don't need a wheelbarrow.
Yeah. By now you might have done. Yeah.
I need more than a wheelbarrow, crying out loud. Jeez. Anyway, that's a visual that's not necessary.
Yeah.
What's the matter? Are you tired?
A little bit, but I'll
Why?
be all right. I don't know.
It's only 20 after 11 on a Saturday.
I know. But...
Come on now. Wake up.
Yeah.
Want me to pinch you?
No.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh, my. What's the matter?
I don't know. I'm just kind of burnt out. I mean...
From what?
I'm just feeling kind of burnt at the moment. What can I say? No.
I used to like that song, Rod Stewart's song. Was it If You Think I'm Sexy?
Oh, well, yeah. See, you should explain what it is you're reading in case people aren't...
people who are in the chat room, somebody said the Rod Stewart song. I used to like that song.
Well, which Rod Stewart song?
If You Think I'm Sexy.
Oh, okay.
And Captain Gringo's, half his whiskey's already gone.
Nice.
How you feeling, Captain?
Nice. You gotta wait like a minute, because there's like a minute and a half delay or something. But, okay. What other topic has passed your, viewing this week? What other interesting thing has come up? Anything of relevance you want to talk about?
Oh, there's nothing relevant about my show.
Relevant?
Whatever.
Relevant?
You don't want me to be smart at 20 after 11 on a Saturday.
Oh, sure. You can be.
I don't care to be. I don't know what's past. Let's see. Well, I was reading a lot about different murderers and stuff on the internet. I found some of them to be kind of interesting. Some of the stories.
Well, which...
I read about Carolyn Warmus. I read about Ted Bundy. I read about Lizzie Borden. I started reading about Edgar Allan Poe.
See, you're reading about, like, true crime and tragedy and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spent some time on that stuff.
Some of it's interesting.
You know, I'm really, really hoping to get some people to talk about the Charles Manson case a little more. Eugenio was supposed to come on and do that with me, but he's kind of canceled on me now and pushed back on a date and everything else. So I don't know if I'm going to get him on to do it, but I got some other people in mind to get into that topic with that are actually in contact with Manson's. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, didn't he say his girlfriend needed him to do things? for him or something like that.
Who, Charles Manson or Jim DiEugenio?
DiEugenio.
Oh, yeah, DiEugenio, I don't know what his deal is, really.
Well, that's when you just got to turn around and tell her, look, I have something else to do. You're going to have to wait a minute.
Yeah, but I don't know. Who knows what the real deal is as to that. I mean, he does Black Op Radio nearly every Thursday, and so I can't get him on Thursdays, and I do my Liberty Beacon thing on Tuesdays. So then Saturday I tried to book him, and he agreed, and then he pulled out. What can I say? I mean, I guess he's busy with other things on the weekends. Even though it's a Saturday afternoon for him, I guess he's got other bigger fish to fry.
I guess so. We're talking, a lot of people in the chat room are talking about dancing with different music. And what's the deal with the twerking? What the hell is that? Is that an actual dance, or is that some...
It's a move. It's like just shaking and twisting your ass.
Did you see that video of the one girl doing it?
I don't pay attention to this kind of stuff.
She's got a really big ass. And it's like shaking all over the place.
Is this a particular woman doing this? Or
I don't know.
Is it just like some random person?
How people...
Now the video's gone viral?
Yeah, that kind of stuff. They tape themselves with their cell phone or whatever. Mm-hmm. And they do their dance moves.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of that
Yikes.
stuff out there, yeah.
I saw something funny on my Facebook page. There was one of those, those tall, like, blow-up things that people use at, like, the auto places.
What? Wacky waving inflatable
that
flailing arm tube man or whatever.
One of them got stuck, bent in half.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was twerking. It was pretty funny.
Well, I don't know.
It was.
I find all those, like, pop culture trends just really silly anymore. I mean, there's nothing... They're mindless. I mean, the whole thing is mindless. Just like pop music is so mindless.
Anon drew a little picture on the chat, and it's like the shaking, the vibration, and then an ass, and then more shaking. And then he said, or she said, that's twerking. Just show me what it is.
Nice. I'm surprised I haven't seen videos dropped in the chat room of, like, God knows who twerking with God knows what, but, hey, what can you do?
Like somebody invent that, or like by accident, or what?
Oh, I have no idea about the history of twerking. You want to look it up? And
do I want to look that up?
I don't know. Do you want to look it up?
Sure. What the hell? Let's see. What's this?
Well, leave that, because it's CIA instruction to media assets. I was going to talk about, the agency's instructions to, like, CBS, NBC, ABC, New York Times, Washington Post, all that stuff.
What, tonight?
Regarding the Kennedy assassination, I was going to talk about that, how it fits into the context of disinformation in the modern age. And
here we go.
There you go.
Oh, they even have instructional videos on it.
Of course they do. Any possible action in the world, there is an instructional video for.
I Googled the word fuck, just for the hell of it.
Right.
And they have some pretty funny, if you go to images, that's where I got the one image that I have on my Facebook page. It just says fuck it. So my caption above it was, sometimes you just gotta say. I'm trying to see, they actually have a definition for twerking. What does it say? This is from Wikipedia, of course, so. It's a type of dancing in which an individual, usually a female, dances to music in a sexually provocative manner involving thrusting hip movements and a low squatting stance. Wow. Well, that could be used in many...
Yeah, that's the point. It's all about... Like, when I used to go to clubs on occasion, and I'd go to a place that, like, would have bands on certain nights, but would be a dancey dance kind of joint. On other nights, you used to see that all the time. All it was a bunch of dry humping to boom, 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 boom.
I went to a couple of those places. I couldn't stand it. Hey, what the hell is that?
I don't know. It's just it's clubbing. It's that's what really goes on in those clubs where somebody always gets shot outside. you know, or inside nowadays. I don't know. You know, like Bobby Brown recently was doing a club appearance and there was a shooting.
Who?
Bobby Brown, Whitney Houston's.
Oh, actually, that movie's on TV.
Yeah, well.
Yikes. I obviously quickly changed the channel. I was watching Criminal Minds before I came in here.
Okay.
I like that show.
Yeah, well, I've never actually
Never watched that?
No.
Oh, well, you're in for a treat.
Already.
It's that or Cooking Channel.
Yeah.
You know, I want to go on that. I want to go on that Chopped show. What's the last concert I went to? Oh, wow. Oh, well, honestly, what was the last? I think it was the Chili Peppers. Oh my God, I gotta get out more often. I think that was the last concert. That was back in 2001, I think.
That far back?
I think so. It was at the Art Center in New Jersey. And what was the last concert you went to? Captain wants to know.
Oh, Ozfest some years ago.
At the Art Center?
Yeah, well, the last one I went to was at the Art Center, yeah. So I saw a lot of bands there. I've seen a lot of bands at Ozfest over the years.
Well, they changed the format for the art centers because a lot of the kids were going, you're not allowed to tailgate there anymore, which I always thought was fun. But because these kids would go like to the Crew Fest or the Ozfest, they'd get all shit-faced hammered in the parking lot and then cause a bunch of trouble inside. Well, not really. I guess it was kind of inside, even though it was an outdoor
yeah, but once you go within the confines of the, of the performance areas, as it were, I mean, this was the other thing. You know, they also disallowed smoking, even though it was in, an outside arena, basically.
But they even stopped tailgating. You can't bring... You're a grown-up, and you can't bring beer into the parking lot of, Giant Stadium.
Well, no.
And tailgate anymore, because a bunch of assholes ruined it for everybody else.
It would cut into their beer revenue, too. You don't have to drink as many of their $7 beers.
Well, that's what pissed me off at that Chili Pepper concert. I went to the concession stand, and literally it was $7 for a plastic cup of beer.
Yeah.
So I could get 4 at a time, so that's what I did.
Yeah, and meanwhile, we're talking about, 2001 or 2.
Right.
It was still like $6, $7 for one plastic cup of beer.
Well, I got the maximum allowed, so I could have my beer and not have to miss the concert and walk back over there. And this little drunk 16-year-old comes walking past me and kicked my beers over.
Mm-hmm.
Not only did I not drink them, but $24 or so just went down into the grass. And she was like, hee, I'm sorry. I wanted to beat the shit out of her right where she stood.
Well, what was she supposed to say, anyway?
She should have pulled out $24 and bought me 4 more damn beers, is what she should have done.
Yeah, well, good luck with that. In one of the Ozfests I was at, I remember, God, who was it on stage? Papa Roach was on stage, and they started ripping up the grass from the...
Oh, wow, really?
They started ripping up the grass, because, it's an amphitheater setup, right? And then what you have is what they call, general admission, which is, you can sit on the lawn, and you're literally sitting on just, a big patch of grass behind the amphitheater.
Right.
And this is where you can sit to watch the show. Now, I had special consideration because the Garden State Arts Center is a state-owned thing, so they have handicapped seating. There's literally a section of seats for blind people.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I'm legally blind, I got to be able to sit, second, third row.
Wasn't it really loud?
No, it's no more loud than, any other. Loudness at a concert never bothered me.
No, neither. If it's too loud, you're too old.
Well, yeah, but, the only time I was ever in a place where it was obnoxiously too loud was in small clubs sometimes. Mm. That was just a bad sound man, though, just because it doesn't need to be oppressively loud,
Well, oppressively loud, well, probably not, but it shouldn't be distorted either.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing, depending, but these guys would have, sound systems that were pushed to the edge, in a place that could only hold 100 people. You know, it was like ridiculous. But when Papa Roach is on stage, he started screaming, fuck shit up, and started hitting himself with the microphone. And he starts bleeding and stuff. But the next thing you know is we turn around because we're in the second or third row, and we see this like almost like a wave of dirt, like thrown from the grassy area behind the amphitheater into, like, say, the 20th row or whatever, and then them people taking all these clumps of dirt and grass, throwing them 20 more rows forward, and so on on, until it started, like, raining dirt and sod and everything else on the stage. So everybody in the whole inside was being covered in dirt and grass and all that. And they sent out the freak show guy who used to, put the power drill up his nose and
holy shit,
and pick up cinder blocks with the nipple rings and all that. Like he'd take a nipple ring with like a chain and pick up a cinder block with it.
It didn't rip it right off his body?
This guy swung a bowling ball around with the hook in his penis.
Oh, wow. And I'm not even a guy, and I bet you that hurt.
Yeah, well, it's the freak show dude,
This is
the same guy who would take a beer bottle, like broken beer bottle on his face and have somebody come up from the audience and step on his head. This was Ozfest, part of it. So they sent this guy back out, took Papa Roach off the stage, like, mid-set. And
put this asshole on.
They put him on to kind of get the crowd's attention to stop wrecking the place, because otherwise they were going to put a stop to the show and close it out, before Ozzy even got on stage.
Were you at the concert where, I think you were, when Axl Rose, when he was all full of himself and he walked...
No, that happened.
He walked off?
No, that happened in Canada or whatever.
Oh. Why did he walk off? Because he wasn't getting an... Oh, I remember why. Because he thought he should have been ahead of Metallica. Or something to that effect. He wasn't the headlining.
No, they were co-headliners.
But he got all pissed off because Metallica went up first or something like that.
Well, I think the story is they were supposed to alternate back and forth.
Uh-huh.
And what happened was, I think they were still chanting for Metallica, like when Guns N' Roses went on, so he didn't go on or refused to go on or something, making people wait, and then they just, started to let people home, and that's when it broke out into a riot, and people started wrecking the joint.
Have you seen his picture lately?
You mean the fat guy, the artist formerly known as Axl Rose that is now the Guns N' Roses blimp? Yeah.
Talk about hitting the brick wall, but hard.
Yeah, well,
Yikes.
What can you do,
And David Lee Roth, too. I used to have a poster of him in my room when I was younger.
Well, David Lee Roth didn't look so bad a couple years ago when they did that Van Halen reunion.
Didn't he have all kinds of hair implants or plugs or something?
I don't know. I don't know because I only saw the footage of him at Cafe Wah when they did the kind of like the small club show to kick off the world tour, and he was dressed in like a painter's cap and overalls. It was really weird. But
what
the
band
music still sounded good.
Well, they still sound good. What? Oh hell, I just lost it. Oh, Slash. Didn't he? Wasn't he in Velvet Revolver?
Yeah, but also Guns N' Roses.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah, Velvet Revolver, he was in there with Scott Weiland and I forget who else. But.
Well, who did the one guitarist that Metallica got rid of? And then they have this guy that's trying to dress like AC/DC with the plaid skirt and whatnot. And he's got long ponytails, but the guy, or braids he wears now, but the guy before him, I can't remember. I think it's Jason.
You're talking about the bass player?
Yeah.
Okay, the bass player, what you're talking about is Cliff Burton.
No, not him. Okay. After him.
Right. Hold on.
I'm sorry.
Cliff Burton died while on tour with Metallica.
Correct.
Now, you said guitarist that they got rid of. You talking about Dave Mustaine? Because he ended up in Megadeth.
No.
Okay, well, Cliff Burton died while on the Master of Puppets tour. He was replaced by Jason Newsted.
Him. Wasn't he in Velvet Revolver?
I don't know, because Jason Newsted was in Flotsam and Jetsam. He was in Metallica. Then he actually played with Ozzy's band for a little bit. He was in a couple of bands, but Jason Newsted I never really liked very much.
You didn't like him?
Nah.
I like Metallica, but I like their older stuff when Hetfield was still angry.
Yeah, Hetfield... Well, you see, I liked them a lot better before they started doing, country-style songs. And, once they got to that Black album, that was the end of it for me because they kind of went pop. They made a music video, and the music got really, really bad until they did a recent album.
I didn't even listen to it.
The recent album had some good stuff on it. It actually sounded a lot like the old Metallica all of a sudden.
Did it?
It sounded more like the Injustice for All album, which, had One on it, and everybody knows One.
Yeah.
Darkness imprisoning me, all I see, absolute horror, I cannot live.
Yeah, but he was angry. Oh, who's that now?
I don't know, let's find out.
Let's see. Hello, who's 361?
Oh, not on the air.
Where'd he go? He or she? They're
gone.
gone.
No, tried to answer the phone, and there they go.
Oh, they hung up.
You gotta wait for that to light up, and then they're there.
I wasn't paying attention.
No problem.
All right.
So back to what we were talking about. Yeah, the Injustice for All album had One.
Oh, that's Captain. Hey, Captain.
Hey, how y'all doing?
All right. How's your whiskey, man?
Man, delicious.
Awesome.
I don't drink much, but
when I do,
every now and then.
I don't drink much, but when I do.
Yes.
Hey, I just wanted to say, man, a story about how you guys met. That was great. Thanks for sharing that with us, man. That was great. Heck, you couldn't make stuff like that up. That's a great story.
Thank you. No, you can't make that up. I don't have that good of an imagination.
Yeah, weird crossing of paths there. And then the funny thing is that we still had not really met until years later. We just wound up living in the same town.
That's wild. That's got to be one of them fate things. Just meant to be.
That's exactly correct. Somebody called
got another caller
who's buzzing. Who's buzzing? Who's buzzing?
I'm not buzzing. Well, kind of I am. I don't know. Yes. It's Saturday.
My brother from another mother.
What's going on, my brother?
Who is
it? How you doing?
Not bad. I'm having a couple beers.
Hey, good to hear.
This is Michael. How you doing?
Hey, Michael.
Hey. How's it going, man?
I got pants on. Can't ask for much more.
Awesome.
Well, then you're not having that much fun if you got your pants on.
No, it's cold, man. I got dogs and everything. I don't want them to watch.
Well, look, man, if they're watching and you make them howl,
that's a whole nother.
Then you're impressive, my brother.
Yeah. Oh.
This brings up a very interesting point, and then, we're kind of like citizens of the chat room, like you look at UCY and it's kind of like a large bar, and you have to almost like look at the chat room as like the area, right at the bar. And I would say that punctuation is key because it's the difference between helping your Uncle Jack off the horse and just something that'll get you arrested in Alabama. But anyhow, we were like yapping at the bar, so to speak, about like topless bars and how much fun and what exactly kind of a scam is. And like you said, you didn't really understand like the whole idea behind the topless bar. It's not just about going in and getting your rocks off. And like Chuck said, yeah, there's plenty of like early risers and salad shooters, so to speak. Those guys get kicked out, and those guys suck because they don't spend any money. They have 2 beers, and then they take some chick back for 3 table dances or 3 private room dances, and then boom, they're gone. Those guys are horrible.
Well, why would you want to spend your hard-earned money for something you can't take home and do what you want with?
there's no rule that says you can't take them home.
But a lot of them don't go home with you, do they? Well, maybe it's, see,
No,
I don't know.
they go,
Do they go
yeah,
home with
that happens. Yeah,
Depends
that
on
happens.
who you are, yeah.
Oh, all right. All right.
You gotta have really good hair, you know?
All right. Are they somebody that you would let Mama meet?
Probably not.
Then they're
Very rarely. Very rarely. And I will say, too, it's much funner going to a titty bar when you're spending somebody else's money.
Absolutely, brother. Now, there's an amen I'll give you, because I used to conduct business in those bars a lot of times, which kind of sucked for me because I can't see a damn thing. But always it was fun when somebody was trying to court you to do something or whatever, and they were actually paying the bill.
Good stuff.
You got it. That was always a trip and a half. But because I couldn't even see these chicks, because like I would go to some of those places where you had the bar in between you and a stage. Okay.
Oh no, that's horrible.
Well,
do they have pretty faces at least, or no?
Well, there's a reason why the lighting is the way it is in there usually. You know?
Yeah. It covers up a lot of pock marks and crack pipe scars and whatever.
Crack pipe scars, C-sections, bullet wounds, whatever.
Stretch marks.
Hey, I have C-section scars.
Tattoos with lines through them.
Yeah.
That's attractive. Oh, wow.
Oh, he's bringing up some memories.
But you know, it's not all about being a pervert. Like, I would say about, like, of the clientele that visits the bar, I'd say about 30% of them are just degenerate fucks. Like, you don't want those people, like, even, like, within 2 blocks of your house.
Oh.
But, of the rest of them, they're all really good guys. You know, they just, you know, they work hard, or it's a lot of retired dudes now, at least in my area.
Well, and, you know, some of them have really good fried chicken. If you're going to eat chicken, you might as well eat chicken at a good titty bar. What the hell?
Yeah, you got
Hooters is no good, really. I mean, their food sucks.
And you got to say that is that sometimes they do have a buffet, and I don't know. I always like the buffets, but I would never ever touch the sausage and peppers in the thing, man.
Hey, and that free steak on Saturdays, there's no such thing as a free steak at a titty bar. Let's get that straight right now.
Straight up, there ain't nothing free in a titty bar. And word to the wise, when the chick says, "Will you buy me a ladies' drink?" say, "How about a beer?" Do not buy the ladies' drink, because you have just bought her a 20-ounce hurricane glass of pink or blue or purple slushy that has no alcohol in it that costs you $25.
So she'll talk to you for 5 minutes before she has to towel off.
Well, she'll talk to you for 5 minutes before she now hustles your ass for... Well, how long is a song in a titty bar? It's usually no more than 3.5 minutes long, right? Because every song is cut, right? Because you got a bunch of cranky chicks, and you can't actually really expect them to work. You know, I mean, they're taking their clothes off and drinking. What do you want them to do? Work too?
Yeah, really. Yeah.
So you just get them drunk enough to get up on stage for about 3.5 minutes. They go through like a 2 or 3 song set. Hopefully you don't got to have like the second stage open or something, and then like really like convince these women that you got to do it, and then you got to get them down and rotated out. So,
well, right,
it's like running a farm, yo.
No, this is all true, and of course those are usually what 20. The going rate was $20 for that 3.5 minutes, right?
Yeah, like if you. At least the places I worked at, except for one of them, because one of them was like really, really high end, and I didn't work there long. I have too many issues in my own personal life to deal with, or had them at that time, to work at that place too long. But yeah, about $20 for a dance. If you go back to the room, you have to buy a key to the room now. You know, which get you back into like the little private room. You don't have to buy it each time. once you buy it once, it's like your pass for the night. You can go back there. It's not a VIP room. You get to go back there for your 1 or 2 songs or whatever, and then you come back. You don't actually have to have your dance at the table.
Ah, see, that's different. That's different.
Mike, I got a question for you. What would you say, is the average good dancer would make at a decent strip club, not necessarily the high-end one? What would an average dancer make in a night, cash?
If she is a chick that came in because this is her job, like she knows she only has to do this like 2 nights a week for like 6 hours, and she makes enough to live on for the rest of the week and take care of her kids and do all that, and she's not, quote unquote, a hoe, she could probably, on a good night, make $1,000.
Whoa!
So two nights a week and knock down $2,000.
Nice.
Yeah. When I was living in Corpus, I worked at a myriad. Actually, I worked at almost every one of them in Corpus. But we had like chicks that would come down, and we had this one chick from. She was actually from Victoria, but she was originally from the Valley, and she was actually a really pretty Mexican girl. I mean, like kind of like on the gorgeous side. And I mean, just built like you don't know, man. I mean, just boom, she was there, like made weather girls jealous. I called that girl the machine because she came in, she got dressed, she gave me her CD or her list, and she went out and she went to work. I did not see that chick at the bar one time getting a drink. I did not see her sitting down and doing nothing. The only time she did was she went back to like shower off or change outfits or whatever. The whole time she was there, she was either on stage or she was working a dude back in the dance area. She made bucks.
And I have nothing but respect for girls that do that, And I'm not the typical titty bar goer, I guess. I don't go often, I'm not wanting to sit here and act like I go to a titty bar all the time. But, I guess I'm not the typical guy. I'm not in there just lecturing over these chicks. I end up usually sitting there talking to them.
No, it's a social thing, dude.
Yeah, getting their story, I'm just sitting there bullshit. I'm usually with somebody else anyway, and, I get their story, and that's the ones I like talking to, the ones that have a plan, the ones that are going to school. Of course, all of them tell you they're going to school.
They're all going to school. They're all radiology techs. They're all in radiology tech school.
Well, Michael, were you a bouncer in one of them?
I was like everything in one of them. I was a bouncer. I was a DJ. I was a bartender. I was a schedule maker. I was the guy who took out the trash. I was the guy who stocked the beer. I did everything except get all the money.
Well, how do you know how would you know if a guy was doing something that one of the girls didn't like? Like, was there a code or
if a guy is doing something that a chick doesn't like, depending on how much money she's getting, is directly proportional to how much noise she's going to make. And the minute she makes noise, I had like a 6D Sil mag light that I kept by like when I was DJing. I would keep by the booth, and I'll tell you what, it helped. It helped.
So if
I got to toss a couple dudes out, and it's actually not as hard as it sounds because usually these dudes are shit-faced.
Right. Well, if they screamed loud, then you would come over, or like how did that work?
Well, I mean, you always got your eye. I mean, depending on how big the bar is going to tell you how many people are working there. And guys, the guys who work there, you're always keeping an eye out on your chicks. Okay. And so like if you see a chick go in there and she's like taking a dude back to the private area or something, you kind of keep an eyeball on. I mean, and there's fuck tons of mirrors, so I mean, after you've been in the bar for a while, you know exactly where to look and what you can see.
Right.
And you know what kind of motions are legit and what aren't.
Yeah, and if she makes a little motion towards you, that means get over there and check out what's going on.
And then you grab the guy by his shirt and throw him the hell out, or
you take if the guy's a problem. If a dude is like say like she's getting a dance or he's getting a dance and he puts his hands on her ass or something and she doesn't like that, which that ain't gonna happen. Sorry.
I thought they had to sit on their hands.
Oh no!
Yeah, where are you from?
No?
France?
I don't. Well, actually, I am French, but I'm not from France.
Well, what the hell what kind of fun lap dance would that be if you had to sit on your hands?
Well, it wouldn't be, but I thought that was one of the. Well, see, I don't frequent these places, so I don't know.
No, man, they put you in a big old comfy chair, and you're kind of like slouched in it, and she's just all up all over you, and you're supposed to keep your hands like on the arms of the chair, but whatever.
Right.
Whatever, she bumped me in the face with her titty. My arm had to move, officer.
If she's a pro, she'll let you know what you can do and what you can't.
Absolutely,
Absolutely. That's just.
Most times,
I always feel weird in them places myself. I don't want to sound like I'm going home in one.
Yeah.
The guy who's going to make a chick scream when she goes like scream in fear or in pain or something when she goes back for a dance, anybody who's good at this would have figured out that dude was a freak before he went back there.
Right.
Because freaks don't just walk in off the street every day and go into them places. They build up a clientele.
And most times, a guy who's watching or whatever doesn't have to do it because the girls pretty much, will draw the line and say, look, you don't do this, or all right, that's okay, but that's not whatever, and they'll get up and walk away from the guy or whatever.
Well, and not only that, the whole bar is full of dudes, right? So it's a great big testosterone sausage fest, all right? Now you got some dude who went and took a chick who undoubtedly has another dude in there who's after her, but he's just out of cash. And this guy went and took that chick and took her back there and assaulted his next ex-wife. Come on now. There's going to be all kinds of brawls.
Right.
And it happens.
Right.
I mean, I've seen customers kicking other customers' ass. You don't touch my dancer like that. Whatever. You're both out of here.
Wow. Now, do they give you a percentage of their tip for protecting them?
This is a while back. I don't do this anymore, right? It's not good for your soul.
No.
It's not good for your soul unless you're making the big money. Then it's okay for your soul.
It pays the bills and then some, right?
Well, because it doesn't really pay the bills. It's the coolest job in the world for 3 months until you realize you're flat fucking broke.
Right.
But it's
I just want to say a shout out to technology. I'm out here in the front porch taking the dogs out to go to the bathroom and all that good stuff, and we're on air, man. I just had to say that's pretty nifty stuff, I thought.
That's pretty cool.
Speaking of technology, me and a buddy of mine thought about trying to find a titty bar that would let us put in a live webcam, and charge access to it. But yeah,
can't find one yet.
No, that sounds like a really good idea, and then we never did anything with it.
Huh. Maybe.
But anyhow, how they paid out was there's a total different pay structure. Because these chicks, they pay to work in the bar. And I talked about the ladies' drink earlier, that $25 slushie. She has to, depending on the bar, she has to sell 1 or 2 of those a day to work. Or she's got to pay $50 to work in the bar. Right.
Yeah, because
so
they keep their money. See, they keep their tip money.
Right.
But they somehow, got to juice the place for giving them the space.
Right.
Right. It's like an independent contractor, like a chick who cuts hair or something, right? If a chick cuts hair, she got to rent a chair at a salon.
Exactly. You rent your chair.
So you're renting your pole/chair.
Well, you're renting the whole place.
And not only the pole and the stage and all that, but it's a dressing room and a shower and depending on who the bartender is, a couple free drinks, that kind of stuff. And I mean,
somebody will walk you to your car at the end of the night.
Absolutely. You're going to be safe. There's a 99% chance you're going to be safe at work as long as you're somewhat safe in your personal life. If your personal life is that fucked up where you're scared at work, you probably shouldn't be there.
That's true.
But that does happen too.
I would think so. You have some crazy guy that thinks he's going to hook up with one of these.
Shit, another crazy dancer.
Oh, yeah, jealous. Yeah, well, women are nasty. You gotta.
I took a gun away from a chick one night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was cool. She was hammered. She was all barred out and had, like, I don't know, she'd been drinking a whole bunch of, I don't know what kind of liquor she was on, but I saw it in her purse. And, like, I kind of, like, you know, I keep a good rapport with all of them. So, you know, I kind of, like, went over and talked to her and kind of, like, put my arm around her and yanked that goddamn thing right out of her purse, took it home and sold it.
Did she even know you took it?
No, I don't know. Probably, like, within a couple of days, she figured out it had to be me. But fuck it, what am I going to say? What's she going to do? She was probably a stolen gun in the first place. Yeah, you know?
Yeah. Well, we're down to,
Jesus,
like,
Jesus, I think I probably just admitted to something real bad on the radio.
Oh, well, we don't really know who you are, because it's, you know, it's a street name, so it's all good.
My name is Bob Tuskin.
There you go. Well, we're down to our last 4 minutes, so...
Well, I appreciate y'all putting up with us.
Oh, it's all good.
Thanks for letting me call. And remember, gentlemen, if you ain't tipping, she ain't stripping. A little bit of green gets you that close to your dream. Step up, gentlemen. Don't be shy. Thanks a lot.
Have a good night.
I appreciate you guys, and I'll let you go. And thanks again for your show. Thanks for letting us call in.
Oh, anytime.
Anytime, exactly.
Enjoy your evening.
Do the same.
Thank you. Well, that was interesting. See, I got a lesson on a strip bar. See, I didn't know how they operate.
Yeah, well, you got to know some of the business end of it. Hey, we could talk about.
I would own a strip club. Why not?
I don't know if I could handle that kind of stain on my on my being, man.
Well, you don't have to be the person that throws them out. You just need to be the person that operates.
Throwing somebody out's an honest job, but you know.
Well, that's why you hire people
selling,
to do so.
Yeah, but selling, you know, half-ass sexuality to, you know, to desperate suckers. I don't know, man. I think it might be more respectable to just be, you know, a pimp. But
no, that's bad.
My opinion.
No, that's bad.
I don't know. I don't think I could deal with that weight myself.
I always wanted to own a bar too.
Not my thing. Yeah, again, another hassle. I mean, you know, I worked in those businesses a little bit, and, you know, one night maybe I'll get into some in-depth stories about playing in between strippers, because, you know, some sawdust joints where, you know, there ain't enough girls to go around, and you got to give them a break, and you're playing, you know, basic stuff, and, you know, the theme from A Courageous Cat and all that.
Courageous Cat?
Yeah. It's okay. No problem. They
don't dance to that. I always thought it would be cool to have a pole in the bedroom.
Yeah, I've had friends who had like a pole for a coffee table and stuff.
Well, I wouldn't have it for a coffee table for, you know, everyday entertainment.
Well, you know, but...
Good Lord.
It's a coffee table still. Just happens to have a big pole in the middle of it that goes just about to the ceiling. Yeah. So you entertain their friends too? No, fuck that. No, what you do is you call up strippers. They come over if you're an apartment full of guys. I'm talking about my own pole, not a bachelor pole. I got a pole for you. Oh my God. Good Lord. All right, now that's turned X-rated. That wasn't where I was going. I got a pole for you. I promise it's impressive. There's my stripper music now. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you next Saturday. Behave yourselves. Don't forget to tip your nose. Bye.